if y'all get a nope, that did not work. All right, let me. I'm gonna have to share each window individually then. So can you all see my screen fine?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just talk about making 3D models of boards. It's not too complicated. Yeah, so as the demo board for this, I'm going to use the new telemetry board that we have, which was a board we designed this past fall. And I've begun soldering, although this thing is a beast, so it's going to take a while. So there's a couple of reasons why 3D modeling of boards is a good idea, right? So looking at this, the screen that I have right now, can anybody tell me, do I have any overlapping parts on this board?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there are 637 pads on this board. It's kind of hard to tell if any of them are overlapping or if any of them, or if any components have like one of their pads within a different component, right? Now we can check this by running a DRC and we see I'm all good. So I don't have any overlapping parts. But now the other question is like, do I have any connectors facing backwards? Do I have any components whose position doesn't make sense on this board? And you know, connectors facing backwards and all that are things that we have seen while reviewing some boards over this past semester. And I mean, it's an easy mistake to make, right? So now I'm sharing what a 3D view of the board looks like. Right, so I'll give you all a moment to look at that. So this is the same board, but in 3D now. And it's a little bit easier to see like how all of these connectors like stand up, how the battery holders are positioned, and you know, we got one connector over here, and so that's good for helping us, you know, figure out if our board looks the way that we need it to look, make sure that we don't have any components that are sitting inside of another or that are facing the wrong way, like these battery connectors. But then there's another more even more pragmatic reason, I think, to make 3D models of boards, and that's just because our mechanical team needs to design mounting systems for it, and they can't do that without good descriptions of our board's dimensions and mounting systems. And the easiest way to give them that is to just give them a model that they could plug into their assembly. So let's start out. So you'll notice that I have up here, I have a connector here, J12, that has a 3D model attached, whereas J13, the one next to it, does not. That's because certain footprints in KiCAD, including the ones that you make as a user, or some of them that are in the standard KiCAD libraries, do not include 3D models linked to the footprint themselves. So quick demonstration is in order of how we add a 3D model to a footprint. So again, I'm going to have to share my other screen now. This is going to get annoying. So, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to share this, and y'all get to see all of my screens, but that means I don't have to keep swapping around. All right, cool. So let's say I want to add a 3D model to J13 right here. Right, so you go over to J13, I'd hit edit, and I'd probably see a screen like this first. If you go over here to 3D settings, hope y'all can still like see everything fine. Y'all good? A little small? Okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as y'all get the general flow down, I think it'll be fine. And so you can see I kind of just have a small PCB with just the footprint on it in this view, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and hit a folder icon over on the left there, and it's going to ask me to choose a path. There's going to be a drop down We have some Molex connector um, 3D models in the common libraries that we have on GitHub. So that should be in every PCB project. So if you go to common and then UTSVT 3D, you'll see a whole lot of folders called like chips.3D shapes and connectors.3D shapes and miscellaneous.3D shapes. In the connectors.3D shapes one, you'll see a whole lot of step files. So if you choose the right one, you should just find the model that you're looking for here. And in my case, it's just the 4-pin Molex connector. You can hit OK, and then it'll shove that into your PCB. Now it doesn't align it very well, right? And so what you have to do is just kind of click around, offset it, get it facing the right way, get it rotated around the correct way. Maybe look at it from the bottom, make sure that these pins are aligned properly, right? But then once you get that all good, you just hit OK. And now it is associated with that footprint. And so if we hit save and then go back to our 3D viewer, you can see I now have both connectors with 3D models. Any questions so far? Cool.
On both of the connectors.
Sorry, what?
How did you get the I guess gray piece on both the connectors if you only added one of the footprints?
Oh, it was already on J12.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
J12 already had a shape associated with it. I just added the one on 13 just now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that raises another point, right? Do we really want to do this for every single time, for every single footprint on this board? Absolutely not, right? So if you go into the actual footprint libraries and edit the footprint, right, as if you were going to like actually make a modification to the footprint itself within the library, you can set a association for that footprint itself. So anything that would use that footprint would have the same shape attached. Unfortunately, if I were to say go here and then do open in footprint editor and then attempt to say edit the footprint here and do that and hit save, right? It's I actually what's going on here? Right. So if I were to open up the actual library footprint, which would be under connector Molex here, and this would be Molex microfit 3.0 1x4. There we go. No. Interesting. I'm not quite sure where this. Oh yeah. So if it's in UTSVT connectors, we can totally do this, right? We can totally do it assigned statically, right? If we were to like try to open up a that's a bad example. If we were to try to open up a like a Molex connector from the standard libraries, and then like add in some sort of shape. Just as an example, I'm going to click some random one, right, and say that's what I want my my 3D model to look like right here. And then I would hit OK and try to hit save, right? Unfortunately, you can't modify the KiCAD like standard modules because they're marked read only, which is another reason why on future PCBs that you make, if you have a choice between a footprint that we have either in UTSVT connectors or in the KiCAD standard, you should probably go with UTSVT connectors because we can actually assign models associated to the footprint itself rather than each individual footprint on the board. Does that kind of make sense? I'll take silence as a yes. So yeah, we can do this. We can get some connectors on here. We can do all of that. So let's say I had all of my footprints actually like have the models that they need. What do I do next? Oh, well, actually, first of all, just a comment. The actual 3D models for this, right? If we don't have like a connector that you need or something in the common folder, a lot of times manufacturers, if you go to their website, like Molex, will provide 3D models of all of their products, right? So if you go to Molex's website, you can find step files, which are just a form of 3D model file for all of their connectors, right? So if we don't have one, you can usually find something on the manufacturer's website, and if not, usually somewhere else online. In the rare case that you couldn't find something, honestly, just replacing it with like a box about the same size as the thing, which is like very easy to make a CAD of because it's a box, right? Just replacing it with that is probably good enough. It would be harder to like see like intuitively whether it's facing the right way or not, but for our mechanical team, it essentially serves the same purpose. So how do we convert this into a format that the mechanical team can use? For that, you're going to need something called FreeCAD, which is simply just a CAD modeling program, right? I'm using it on Linux. I'm pretty sure they have a Windows client as well. Someone may want to check on that. And basically, if you go up here and you go to Add-on Manager, right? There are, once it loads, there's a whole lot of add-ons that are officially supported for FreeCAD. You'll want to get one that allows you to open KiCAD files, which it's being very slow at loading the add-on manager right now. But yeah, so once you get that add-on, and that is simply called here, y'all can see all of my screens. So if you just look up FreeCAD, KiCAD, right, you'll see it's called KiCAD Step Up. There's some instructions on how to install it on the wiki. I don't know what all this text is about. Basically, it's just a search in the add-on manager and hit install. So I'm going to close this because it's taking forever to load. But if you look up KiCAD Step Up, that'll be what you want to install. So once you have that, you can just open up any file you want, right? So for me, got to navigate all the way to that thing. You see I have a KiCAD PCB file right here. And so that's the actual PCB design file that KiCAD makes. And so FreeCAD's going to take a little bit to load because it's trying to load all of the assets. And you'll see it looks much uglier, and it's going to complain because some of the assets it wasn't able to find, but it's okay. So you'll see that it looks like much uglier in FreeCAD than it does in KiCAD, just because it doesn't have a silk screen and it looks a bit blockier. But it's the same shape, it's the same dimensions. You can see the connectors that I have on the KiCAD 3D model are also present here. And yeah, so the reason why we want to populate all of these is so that the mechanical team can tell, oh, there's supposed to be an Ethernet connector right here, which isn't present in this currently, or oh, there's supposed to be an antenna connector right here, which again isn't present in this currently. But then once we have this, right, we can just select it on the side where it's going to list everything you have in the assembly, and then hit export. And it'll give you a giant list of formats that you can export as. We have been giving the mechanical team files in .step format. I think they've recently requested we switch to giving them files in .stl. It's the same sort of process on our side, right? You just select STL, give it a name, and hit save. Right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we've just saved as STL, and then if you find yourself doing this often, you'll want to be added to the team's GrabCAD. It's where we store mechanical CAD files. If it's just a one-off, you could probably just upload it to Drive and point the mechanical guy who requires the file to that.
A quick question on the KiCAD part. Do we have to save the KiCAD file as a different file, or is the
No, .KiCAD PCB is exactly what like this file that we're looking at right now is saved as.
Okay, nice.
Right. So once you get the FreeCAD add-on, it can just like open up this file directly, and it just uses that to populate the 3D model.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, sorry, my my screen share is so weird, but hopefully that was good enough for her purposes.
I think it was good. I'm gonna stop recording then, and we'll see how